Welcome to the Dreamlands. We are back with another Deserts of Kharak tutorial video. And similar to my last tutorial video, this is also going to be a video on how to deal with the AI. So there will be some similarities between the last video. However, there are going to be a lot of differences. Primarily, I'm going to be approaching this playing as the Gaalsien faction. I'm also going to be playing on a different map. So the basic premise will be pretty similar, but I'm going to go into more depth on how we can approach fighting the AI against overwhelming odds in very difficult situations from the Gaalsien faction. And also how we can approach different maps that are a little bit more challenging to play on and will give you a little bit less predictability. So with that said, let's jump in to a game. Once again, I will be recording myself live playing through this, as I feel that that's a better educational tool. So we'll go ahead and create a private game. I'm going to pick the Gaalsien faction. And just as we're jumping in here, I'm going to set up the game in a pretty similar fashion to the last video. However, my opening build order will be a little bit different, and the strategy that I'm going to employ is going to be quite a bit different. The basic premise will be pretty similar. I will be using my carrier in the early game to do the majority of the fighting while I aggressively expand. However, the Gaalsien faction has some pretty unique strengths which allow your opener to be, in my opinion at least, better than the coalition. And that's going to allow us to tackle a much more challenging map to play on. So let's jump in and create a game here. Once again, I will be fighting by myself on Team 1. I'm going to add 3 AIs, set them all to Team 2. They're all going to be on hard difficulty. And we are going to leave Artifact Retrieval mode on for the added challenge. And we will leave it on the default of 5. That gives you, if you've watched the last video, you will understand that that makes it quite a bit more difficult. However, leaving it on the default of 5, which is typical for most games, still leaves you with a margin of error of 1 artifact. They are guaranteed to get 3 right at the start of the match. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. However, with 5 artifacts, that allows you to let 1 slide if you need to, if you run into a bit of difficulty. Alright, so the main difference, other than our factions of choice, are going to be the map. This map will play on Kartoba. You may recognize it from the campaign. It is a very, very big map. It's wide open, so it provides a lot more challenge and makes it much more difficult to camp the enemy's extraction zone and protect your resourcing locations. In fact, I would say it's against 3 AI, it's pretty much damn near impossible to do that. So it's going to force us to be a lot more active around a large, wide area on the map. So, and I think the Gaalsien faction is pretty strong and they can do this pretty effectively. So anyway, without further banter, let's jump into the game here. Wait, I'm going to be OCD. Let's set the opposing faction to all coalition factions. Well, protagonist factions, if you will. So I'll put Soban into coalition. And again, this doesn't matter. The strategy and build order that I'm going to use is effective versus any faction, same as the last game. So you can put this to use no matter what your opponent is. Now, as the game's booting up, the basic premise of how I'm going to work it is going to be similar to my last video. I'm going to bring my carrier out and have it do the majority of the fighting while I expand my economy very aggressively. And then that's where it's going to diverge quite a bit. As we kind of transition from the first few minutes of the game and move on into the mid game, it's going to be quite a bit different. So here we go. Again, I'm going to grab all 4 starting salvagers and set them onto CUs. I'm going to queue up 1 salvager on my carrier and 1 on my production cruiser and rally them both to the RUs. And then I'm going to throw out a scanner just to give myself some vision and recycle my starting base runner.
Craft ready.
Ready for operations.
Salvager online.
Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I have 700 resources, and I'm going to immediately start production cruiser refinery mode. And that should be pretty soon. There we go. Just less than 40 seconds and you can get that. Now I will move my starting production cruiser over to the next closest resourcing location, set its rally point on there, set my carrier's rally point on there as well. However, I'm not going to build anything. I'm going to wait until I have 600, and I'm going to build another production cruiser. So this is as greedy of an opening as you can possibly ever do. Definitely, unless you're playing a very macro-oriented 3v3 matchup, this is not a viable build order for competitive multiplayer. However, the reason I'm able to get away with this in this particular game is... One second. Now, I'll get back to that point in just a moment here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue building salvagers now until both of these sites are saturated. And as soon as my production cruiser pops out onto the map, I'm going to move my carrier right out to about here. So for the same kind of reason as we did in the last match, I'm going to have my carrier pretty much do all of the fighting for the first couple of minutes. Now, the reason I can actually expand much more aggressively as the Gaalsien is because their carrier is much more effective at combat in the early parts of the game.
Production cruiser rendering complete. Artifact signal confirmed.
And this is going to allow me to just basically be as greedy as humanly possible.
Salvager online.
I'm going to continue to set rally points.
Command verified.
And I'm almost saturated. I need 3 more salvagers, so there we go.
Ready for
I'm going to
operations.
bring my carrier out here.
Verified.
And as you can see, the AI has already grabbed 3 artifacts. They are going to get them in. Now I'm going to go for sand skimmer production, or sand skimmer fabrication, and fleet capacity. Now what this is going to do is allow me to spam a ridiculous number of sand skimmers, and that's going to be crucial for moving into the early, the mid game here, transitioning from the mid game into the early game. This is what you need to do.
Cruiser verified.
Now, as you can see, the carrier is just ridiculously good at killing these light attack, or these LAVs, light vehicles. Reason being, point defense guns on the Gaalsien carrier are very high rate of fire and very accurate, and they'll just wreck all of these light vehicles. Now what I'm going to do now is get myself another production cruiser and rally it to the 3rd resource location here, and I'm going to just start spamming sand skimmers as much as possible. Now the reason I'm going to do this is because due to the size of the map, I can't camp their extraction zone and protect my base or my resourcing locations effectively. I just can't do it. So I'm going to use my carrier to fight off their units and have a massive swarm of sand skimmers to swoop around the map, kill all of their base runners. And these sand skimmers will also be quite effective in dealing with some of the attack waves that are going to be coming pretty soon. After a few attack waves, they'll start sending a huge number of railguns at you, and this will be a problem for your carrier. And since we're not going to tech up just yet, we're gonna have to
Moving to destination.
we're gonna have to use our carrier to fight all of their units, and use our sand skimmers
Invasion strike craft
to.
down. Carrier
Looks like
on
they're
board. Awaiting
outmaneuvering me just a little bit here.
Sand skimmer taking fire.
That's okay.
Rally position marked.
I will begin talking again just shortly. Now I need to just get as many sand skimmer upgrades as possible and get them out onto the map. Just keep making more and more sand skimmers. And now we're going to go and kill all their base runners, and I'm just going to use my carrier here to protect my resourcing locations.
Sand skimmer enhancements online.
Strike status positive.
Now we're going to get missile ship fabrication directly.
Sand skimmer ready. Destination locked in.
Set travel ops in advance.
Continue to get more and more
Salvager construction.
more and more power upgrades for your carrier. This is crucial.
Systems online.
In fact, we might want to go ahead and grab a base runner so that we can just grab an artifact and get a little bit more power even.
Ready for dispatch. Command verified. Fleet at maximum capacity. Ready and waiting.
Now that we have an absolute ton of sand skimmers, let's get them out onto the map here, and we'll go ahead and start killing
Base runner ready.
A base runner is taking damage.
killing their base runners here.
Defense alert. Enemy armor
Get this
inbound.
guy and this guy to get
Alert.
that guy.
Carrier is being attacked.
Destination verified.
Sand skimmer under fire. Hostile railgun approaching. Send command.
Report set.
Hostile strike craft destroyed.
Yeah, I know I'm staying in the sensors manager quite a bit,
Awaiting.
but
Send
that's
command.
okay.
Maneuver us out.
Coordinates verified.
I'm going to use my base runner to heal. They have a healing ability. I'm going to use it to heal my carrier a little bit.
Reading.
And once my sand skimmers have dealt with these base runners, I'm gonna flank all of these railguns here.
Heretic forces are extracting an artifact.
Keep building more sand skimmers.
Capacity.
Ready.
Get fleet capacity.
Forces have lost the
I'm going to need to get
Set for
Alert.
generation.
Carrier hull at 75%
And now we're looking pretty good. It's unlikely that they'll be able to get.
Carrier hull passing 75% integrity.
It's unlikely that they'll be able to get any more artifacts at this point. I just have too many skimmers on the map.
Acknowledge.
Just keep spamming skimmers. Lots and lots and lots of sand skimmers.
Awaiting. Send command. Advance.
copy.
Enemy
Now we're going to
railgun
clean up these
destroyed.
railguns.
New position.
Move to car attack vehicle online.
Let's keep getting sand skimmer upgrades.
Moving monitor scans.
Position set. Attack was set.
Ready for deployment.
We're just going to use our carrier, and we're also going to get railgun fabrication, because that's going to come in handy in just a little bit here.
Carrier under attack. Craft and area respond.
Now look at all of these railguns streaming through here. They are just going to get absolutely
Red
owned.
strike craft has been destroyed.
Strike ready.
Tracking contact. Waiting
And I'm
for visual
just going to
identification.
send sand skimmers. Now you can see there's air units starting to come onto the field, so we thankfully researched missile ship fabrication, so we're going to go ahead and continue to get more and more missile ships.
Hostile armor destroyed.
Now we're going to move our carrier up
Hostile
here.
railgun inbound.
Just. Grid work set.
Anyway, I don't need to give you guys a play-by-play of like every single thing I'm doing, because by now you're kind of probably well aware of the strategy.
Acknowledge.
Keep pumping out sand skimmers as much as you
Ready
can,
for deployment.
and just use your carrier to fight off the majority of their units. Your sand skimmers will move around the map, swarm the map, and snipe their railguns
Carrier
and
initial.
snipe
Sand
their
skimmer under
base
fire.
runners.
Armor systems active.
Bit of a problem
Strike
here.
craft has been destroyed.
Confirmed.
Hostile railgun approaching.
Epic micro there.
Defensive guard acknowledged.
Salvager is in contact.
Basic movement.
Carrier initialized. Course marked. Advance.
Ready to adjust.
Light
Retarget.
attack
Carrier
vehicle online.
online. Awaiting directive.
Defense fleet has reached maximum.
Alright, keep getting your defense fleet upgrades.
High speed to target.
Now, we're going to grab our missile ships. We have a couple missile ships. We're just going to rally them onto the carrier so they'll follow the carrier around, and we will continue to use our massive ball of skimmers
Ready for
to
operations.
outflank their railguns and just destroy all of these railguns. And this is going to be very, very effective. Now that our skimmers have maximum upgrades, as soon as this is finished, they are going to be extremely potent. we're going to have just such an overwhelming number of them that the computer will never ever be able to do any significant damage to us with these railguns. Now we're going to send a couple base runners out to get more power. We're going to continue upgrading our power reserves.
Ready and waiting. Green mark verified.
Carrier systems operating.
Base runner rendered.
Base runner online. Artifact verified. Moving to capture.
Alright, we're going to go for honor guard cruisers. And now that the game has stabilized a little bit, we're able to hold off pretty much the relentless aggression from the early game.
Enemy armor inbound, ready for deployment.
We're going to be looking in a pretty good spot here.
Invasion strike craft.
And at this point we have so many CUs that we'll probably want to pop over here
Hostile
and
railgun approaching. A base runner is under
put
attack.
these salvagers back onto RUs.
Team en route.
And the reason I had them on CUs was because I'm just going to have so many sand skimmers, I'm just going to suicide them and I don't even care.
Core set. Dispatch is the
Strike craft destroyed.
We are going to lose one.
strike status positive.
That's okay. And we're going to also start making some rail guns when we can.
On alert. Destination verified.
This is your captain.
Defensive all artifact draws in reality.
Base runner destroyed.
Target location artifact detected.
Get us moving.
Secured at all costs.
Move and charge point defenses.
Moving to
Flight
destination.
attack vehicle rendering complete.
Command. Bring us round.
Awaiting combat assignment.
Awaiting. Send command.
Cruiser confirms. Command defense fleet has reached maximum.
Awaiting.
Artifact
Send command.
extraction confirmed. Relay command.
Alright, we got an artifact. We're looking pretty good. We have tons of power on our carrier. Now our carrier is going to start turning into a serious monster pretty quick
Enemy
here.
railgun destroyed.
Should locked in. Support craft reading.
Hostile strike craft destroyed.
And in fact, at this point, we just have so many skimmers that they can actually just stomp on armored vehicles as well.
Forces are extracting an artifact. Cruiser online. Rally position marked.
Acknowledge. Armor here.
Contact locked. Check sensors for position. Move
Now look
and
at
charge
this.
point defenses.
Reading. Sounds
It's a good thing I left it on 5 because it looks like they're going to be able to take another artifact from us. But that's okay.
Enemy armor inbound.
By now, I'm starting to have just such an overwhelming number of units that,
High speed to target.
like, look at this. Even these sand skimmers can just take all of this stuff, including their armored vehicles. Because of my massive number of upgrades and the fact that my units have been making so many kills, they're starting to get really high levels of rank. This is just making them absurdly cost effective. And like, look at this. I can just come in here and boom, focus down each of these armored assault vehicles and look at how quickly they die. I don't even care. And I have such a massive bank of CUs that I can just suicide basically endless waves of sand skimmers if I want to. Problem that I'm going to start having now is the air spam, so I'm going to need more and more
Defense alert. Incoming hostile strike fighter.
anti-air.
For advance. Sand skimmer advancing.
Hostile railgun eliminated.
Now I'm going to send my carrier over here and quickly deal with this base runner, and then my carrier will swoop around and start
Send enemy base runner authenticated.
kind of removing a few of the AI players. They're starting to bother me a little bit, so may as well take them out. Get a couple more base runners, and
Missile ship rendering complete.
yeah, so as of right now, we're looking in a pretty commanding position. We basically have complete map control. They cannot, at this point, deliver any more artifacts, and we just have like the crazy death fleet of 27 sand skimmers.
Maneuvering out.
Base runner construction acknowledged. Rally position marked.
Armor standing.
Now these missile ships I'm going to leave here.
Strike status positive.
Send is needed.
Awaiting. Send command.
Base runner rendered.
Maneuver
Start building some honor guard cruisers. I can't. Oh, I'm maxed out. Okay. Can't even build honor guard cruisers.
Ready.
That's alright.
Heavy
I don't need them.
service.
Support craft reading. Grid mark set.
Hostile armor destroyed. Captain, get us moving.
Get some more weapons power.
Enemy railgun destroyed.
Get movement power. So look at this. I've got 3
Defensive
power
alert.
in
Enemy
weapon
armor
systems, 3
inbound.
power in range systems, 2 in engines, and 2 in regeneration. Now that my carrier is just an absolutely freakishly powerful weapon of destruction, I've just got a couple of railguns and missile ships following it around, and he's going to come out and do the majority of our killing. And I'm going to dunk a few more artifacts.
Recover the artifact. Strike systems online.
And at this point, I've won, barring an incredibly stupid mistake. There's really nothing that the computer can do. The AI, they're just going to get stomped on by my carrier. I'm just going to missile barrage just because it's fun. And this entire army is just going to get absolutely face rolled.
Defense alert. Hostile carrier spotted.
Now it looks like they're actually trying to snipe my
Alert. Carrier taking fire.
base runners. No, they're not. They're going stupidly right into my anti-air.
Enemy salvager destroyed.
So that's cool.
Armor ready.
These guys can just
Enemy
sit
bomber
right there.
destroyed.
Waiting combat assignment.
I've got my suicide squad of
Target position set.
sand skimmers just wreaking havoc, pretty much forcing the AI to stay where I can control them.
Reposition. Waiting battle assignment. Enact guard protocol.
Advance.
Strike craft on alert.
Observing
And
target
yeah,
horizon.
so I'm actually this game I'm going to win by delivering the artifacts. The reason being I wanted to count towards my achievements. Since I already have the maximum number of achievements for carrier annihilation as the Gaalsien, so
Secure the final artifact.
Waiting for aircraft under attack.
not that you care about that, but I do,
Sand skimmer
so
under fire.
that's how it's going to be.
Artifact locked in.
Hostile salvager eliminated.
Through contact.
Carrier online. Awaiting threat.
Yeah, let's get
Hostile
power
railgun
7. Why
approaching.
not?
Hostile scanner spotted.
Just take this guy out because, you know.
Enemy
Why not?
railgun destroyed.
Reading.
So, yeah, just to reiterate, what my build order was production cruiser refinery mode first,
Relay command.
Hostile railgun approaching.
into production cruiser,
Charge array.
into
Secure
mass
block.
sand skimmers
Secure the
with
final
full
artifact.
upgrades.
Artifact extraction confirmed.
And what that allowed me to do was have complete map domination. It allowed me to have all of these sand skimmers sniping railguns that were a threat to my carrier, and
Traversing on target.
traveling around the map, killing their base runners and preventing them from getting artifacts. So very much a totally different strategy than we saw last game. However, there's two reasons that I decided to go for this strategy, and the main reason is the map. Now,
This is your captain.
if I was playing as the Gaalsien on Kalash Valley, the same map that we played last time, I would have made a pretty similar strategy and unit composition as I did with the Coalition. The main difference is I would have opened in exactly the same way. Rush power upgrades with your carrier, send it out to the middle to fight, and open aggressively with the greediest, most economic opener that you can, which is production cruiser refinery mode, and then immediately another production cruiser before you even build any units. The difference that I would have done,
Destination locked.
the main difference I would have done on Kalash Valley as opposed to this map is instead of going mass sand skimmers, I would have rushed railguns. And so that's pretty different from what I did with the Coalition.
A base runner is under attack.
Sand skimmer
What I did with the Coalition was early AAVs. Now, the reason you don't need to do that with the Gaalsien is because your carrier is just so good at fighting that you don't need those AAVs at all. You can rely solely on your carrier because it's better at fighting light vehicles, and not only that, but it regenerates its hit points. So it can take a lot more damage than a Coalition carrier as well. So,
Strike
oh,
systems
I'll
online.
do that. Come on! I suppose I can do this. The biggest waste of a missile barrage ever. An entire barrage for a single railgun.
Ready to adjust.
Enemy railgun
That's
destroyed.
hilarious.
Forward and engage on
So yeah, as I was saying, I would have rushed railguns instead of went for mass skimmers.
Artifact detected.
And then the game would have turned out pretty similarly from that point on Kalash Valley. But this map, you need to have a swift mobile force that you can use to prevent them from delivering artifacts and just getting that map control that you really need.
Reposition. Send as needed.
Advance.
Keep getting some upgrades, because why the hell not?
Has been destroyed.
So yeah, as you can see, very effective strategy. I hope this was helpful to you guys. I do know that a lot of newer players tend to struggle with the AI. Now you might be watching this video going, why the hell would they struggle? This looks so easy. You just absolutely face rolled 3 hard AIs by yourself. The thing is though that fighting the AI can be a super binary experience. Either they overwhelm you right from the start of the game, and then you are constantly fighting a losing battle the entire time because they have just a superior number of units and they're one step ahead of you, and that gap just grows wider and wider. However, if you're able to overwhelm them in the beginning of the game, they basically stand no chance and they're the ones fighting the losing battle. So if you can do this, then you are going to be in good shape. And I'm about to deliver my 5th artifact. Boom, there we go for the victory. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to somebody out there. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them down below. If you liked the video, smash the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Check you next time.